Joining me now is Igor Volsky. He is executive director of Guns Down America. Igor, welcome to the Young Turks. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem. First, tell us what Guns Down America is.
Well, so Guns Down America is an organization building a future with fewer guns. And we just launched a campaign in a large coalition of March for Our Lives, Color of Change, the American Federation of Teachers, that's pushing Walmart to stop selling guns. And because they're one of the largest retailers in the world, we really think that they have the leverage, if they choose to lean into this issue, to move the debate on Capitol Hill and to actually move us closer to gun reform.
Okay, now to be fair, Walmart has already taken some actions, right? What have they done so far?
So they stopped selling handguns, they stopped selling assault weapons, they increased the age to 21, and that's exactly why we think they need to go further, because Walmart understands that if you limit access to firearms, that you're gonna keep people safer. You're gonna keep people in your stores safer. You're gonna keep your employees safer. And given where we are with guns in America, the fact that things are getting deadlier, the fact that things are getting more dangerous, it's more important now than ever before for Walmart to go further. They got to stop selling guns until we can raise the standard for gun ownership. They got to stop giving money to lawmakers and candidates who take money from the NRA. Imagine the kind of shockwaves that would create in DC if a huge corporation said, you know what, we believe in gun reform and we're no longer funding lawmakers who oppose it.
Well, yeah, I agree that would be a shockwave, and I think that you're onto something that could even get larger if we put pressure on corporations to not give to politicians in the first place. That if you are a corporation that donates to a super PAC, we should, consider boycotting that company. So, but one thing at a time. Let's just keep talking about guns. If anyone should be for the federal background checks, first of all, everyone is. Polls at anywhere between 90 to 97% of Americans. But Walmart should be your biggest ally there, because people are using gun shows as a loophole to buy guns, basically what should be illegal but is not illegal, and they're doing it not at Walmart but at different places. So is it possible to use them as an ally for federal background checks?
Well, look, there have been proposals in the past that urged Walmart to basically create little kiosks in their stores. And so somebody who wants to make a private sale would be able to go to that Walmart with their gun. They would meet the purchaser there. They would use the Walmart system to go through a background check. And that maybe folks thought that was the solution. Ultimately, Walmart rejected that plan. I think something about the danger of having folks walk into your store with guns was a little problematic for them. But I think the real problem here is that the standard for gun ownership in this country is just way too low, right? It's way too easy to get a gun. And what we know from all of the latest research on this is that the kind of system you need is really a licensing system, something that requires people to go much further than just a simple instant background check. And so that's why our argument is, until we can raise that standard, until we can make it harder for folks to get guns, until we ban assault weapons, Walmart has to keep the pressure up, and it has to use all of the leverage that it has as a huge company to help us make that happen.
Okay, you see how the man tried to shut you down by dimming your lights? But we will not stand for it. Okay, we see those tricks.
Walmart's listening.
Yeah, I knew it. All right, so how would you? Okay, so ban assault weapons. I get that. Federal background checks. We all get that. By the way, banning assault weapons. New poll out today. Fox News poll. 67% of Americans want to ban it. 2/3 of the country. We don't really live in a democracy. I mean, look at what you're doing, Igor. I mean, since 97% on federal background checks and 67% on banning assault weapons doesn't work because we don't actually have a democracy, you're basically having to ask multinational corporations because they're the only ones that politicians will listen to.
Right. That's precisely the challenge, right? The fact that our democracy, and that the lawmakers in that democracy are in gerrymandered districts where the incentives to actually represent your full constituent picture are really not there. That's the problem, right? And so we have to go to these corporations because we have to engage other actors in society to help us build that future with fewer guns. It's really, really sad, but it's also currently the reality that we live in. And because 100 people die from guns every single day, you got to do what's possible. And so, even this morning, Walmart is really feeling the pressure. You had their CEO on an earnings call saying that they, would support Congress, maybe consider an assault weapons ban, maybe figure out if it actually works. They kind of felt like they needed to give some kind of response. And I think if folks go to walmartmustact.org, there's a letter there they can print out and deliver to their local Walmart, urging the corporation to stop selling guns. And if we keep the pressure up, if folks post pictures of themselves in front of that Walmart holding that letter and challenge their friends to do the same, we could actually see real change. And of course, as you see there on the screen, this is a really big campaign that's going to have all kinds of on-the-ground actions, rallies at Walmart stores. And I think, given the fact they've already led on this issue, and also given the fact that Walmart workers are asking Walmart to do the right thing, there's a real opportunity here to create real change.
Yeah, but how do you know if they have a Walmart near them? Just kidding. Okay, so but back to the corporation pressure idea. It's interesting. I think the corporations have brought this upon themselves because they captured the government. They figured out a way to basically indirectly bribe our politicians. So, well, now you're in charge, so that's why we're at your doorstep. If we thought it made sense and if it was effective to protest Mitch McConnell or Republicans or some Democrats that are on the wrong side of this, that's what we would do. But they're useless. Yep. So we're going to their boss, and their boss is corporations that own them, including Walmart, right? And so that's why, it's because, Igor, if you're not familiar with the American political system, let's say you're living in Europe or something, it must be so weird. Why are you going to Walmart to get the government to act?
That's really the sad reality, that you have to go to the folks who control those dollars. And in the case of Walmart, we were actually shocked to find out that the top recipients of money from the NRA all got money from Walmart as well. And so you're exactly right. You got to go where the leverage is, because look, Mitch McConnell spent his entire career carrying water from the NRA. He's received millions of dollars from the NRA. So unless there's some kind of huge wave, he's not going to change. And so you have to think about what are other levers you can pull that actually have some kind of theory of change for helping us solve this crisis.
Yeah, look, I really think you're onto something here. And I'm not at all surprised that Walmart's donated to the same people that the NRA has donated to, because they largely donate to Republicans. The Waltons that inherited the Walmart wealth, I should say, are the ones who are the richest people in the country. And for example, Bernie Sanders were to win, they did this analysis. On estate tax alone, the Walton family would have to pay the government $157 billion. So of course they pay off Republicans to make sure that never ever happens. Make sure you keep our tax rates low so that we can hoard away our money. But so you're not looking to stop that. What you're trying to do is isolate the NRA and say, even if you're giving to Republicans, you've got to not give to people who are taking NRA money, otherwise the blood is on your hands. And in this case, it's very literal. This is not an ideological difference. This is literal blood on the streets.
Yeah, this is literal blood on the streets. And of course, as you know, on this issue, a bullet doesn't discriminate if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. People are dying in all kinds of horrific ways, and people are also, living lives in all kinds of pain because so many hundreds of thousands are shot but survive. And so that's exactly, what we're trying to solve. And you're exactly right. Because of the broken system, we have to run campaigns like walmartmustact.org and push these corporations to respond to public pressure on this issue, because our politicians aren't, despite the fact that 97% of Americans, almost all Americans, back gun reform.
All right, one last quick thing, because you mentioned, other than those two things, assault weapons bans and federal background checks, what's the one other regulation that you would most like to get passed?
Well, so it's licensing, it's registration, and then I think you also have to crack down on the gun industry. You got to make sure they're not producing these military-style weapons. You actually have to create an entity that regulates what they produce. There's no federal agency that does that right now. And then finally, the last thing I think is really investing in community-based violence intervention programs that will help reduce urban gun violence. We know what to do. We just have to get the right folks in power to actually do it.
All right, Igor Volsky, Executive Director of Guns Down America. Everybody go to walmartmustact.org, and we'll have a link down below if you're watching later on YouTube or Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.